Hi, welcome to the recording of the Weaning and Dry Times webinar. This webinar was presented by Megan Rogers from Sheep Smart Solutions on Wednesday the 12th of December 2018. This is clip 8 of 9 and includes the importance of roughage, pen size and trough space for both feed and water.
Roughage is really important during a confinement feeding operation. And as you can see with this chart here, which comes out of an AWI publication, Managing Sheep in Drought Lots, the mortality rate can go up, and it's only going from 0.5 to 1.5. Again, it's a loss that you can mitigate against if you are providing roughage. And roughage is useful for productivity in terms of rumen function, saliva production, and gut fill. But I don't think we can underestimate the socialisation impacts and the ability of animals to have a choice of what they're eating and to be able to move around and access some roughage. With minimal or moderate roughage, again, the number of poor doers on hay and straw in that second line down there, the percentage. One thing I will say, when you're using roughage for young animals, please aim to use the highest quality roughage you can. As I said earlier, the amount of reserves that those animals have on board governs how they're going to, what their buffering capacity against any setbacks are. Therefore, if you've got some roughage that's of higher quality, they're still going to be taking in some energy and protein from that, as opposed to using straw, which is inherently going to give you much poorer quality feed tests. Therefore, they're not going to be taking in adequate energy and protein and consequently losing weight. Pen size and area, that's something that I think, again, you need to be sure to make solid plans around this. And that's obviously a product of how many animals are being fed, what the costs are, what your personal preference are. Generally 5 square metres per animal. Increasing the area per animal can certainly improve feed intake and feed conversion efficiency. Reduce shy feeder numbers provided adequate trough space per animal. And reducing that area per animal might help with dust, just due to compaction on the ground, but it may also conversely increase disease, stress and shy feeder issues. And with any sort of confinement feeding operation, you need to be mindful of those shy feeders and taking some affirmative action against those and putting them in a pen with other smaller animals. In a confinement feeding area, you really need to be thinking about the size of the animals and putting them in weight ranges, as opposed to just taking off a draft or mob lots in a confinement area. Again, with lambs, our confinement area, we can come back to as low as 2 to 4 square metres per animal. It talks about use in late pregnancy here on this chart, which comes out of that AWI publication. I'm not a great fan of confinement feeding ewes that are heavily pregnant, and certainly over lambing. And if you're thinking about doing it, you need to consult your animal production advisor about that. Trough space is also important, and that'll impact on shy feeding and bullying. And again, depending on whether you've got single side or double side, whether you're using self feeders, there are other important considerations. As I said earlier, water is really important. Lambs will take 4 to 6 litres per head per day, and budget on 1.5 to 2.5 times what their ration intake is. But again, the quality and the supply, the flow rate, etc., are all very, very important. Your intake's going to increase over summer during hot, salty or high fibre ration type conditions. Certainly raise troughs and position away from feed. Again, it gives the shy feeders an opportunity to access the feed source if the more aggressive and bossy animals are accessing the trough. Just allows a little bit of sort of movement around the pens. Clean the water regularly and consider water quality and how you might correct that.
Thank you for watching this short clip. For more information, please visit www.leadingsheep.com.au.